Good afternoon. I'm Katie McManus, business strategist and money mindset coach, coming to you live on the Facebooks, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and over here on my phone on Instagram. Now, on Thursdays, we've started a little habit where we do a business tarot card reading. And I'm just going to set this up so you can kind of see the things that I'm pulling. Maybe not. Maybe that's a weird angle. Anyway. Sorry, my nose just started running. Anyway. So what we do on Thursdays is I am here for you. If you have a question on your business, on your money mindset, on things that are going on that are affecting your business, then please put your questions in the comments. I usually pull some cards to start us off. Like 5 came out. They just jumped right out at me. So I'm going to be reading these, and if they have any relevance to you, then please put them in the chat. And just so you know, like one of the things that I like to do during this tarot card reading is I like to read the meaning of the card and also make it make sense for your business from a business strategist and money mindset coach perspective, right? So like, yeah, totally. We're getting meaning from the cards, but we're also looking into, what can help your business from a practical place. Okay. So if you don't fully believe in this, that's okay. You don't have to. Okay. If you have a question and you want to ask it, this is just kind of a fun way for me to, answer your questions. Hi, Laura. Welcome. We're doing a little business tarot card reading. If you have any questions, then please pop them in the chat. I was just explaining that you don't necessarily have to believe in this stuff, but if you have a question, it's kind of a fun way to look at things from a different perspective. And then, of course, I love adding my 2 cents as a business strategist. Now, the first card that I pulled before I did this live is the 9 of Pentacles. Okay, so I love this deck. This is the Mystic Mondays deck. So it's a peacock. So pretty. Hi. And I don't know, it's so funny when I pull cards like this, they usually have like a very specific theme, and I don't know the deck well enough to be able to tell you like what the theme is without reading it. So we will discover this together. Hey, yeah. All right. So, we've actually gotten this card before. So the 9 of Pentacles represents your true colors, splendor, and vitality. So it means indulge yourself. You deserve it. Your hard work is paying off, and you are now reaping the rewards. You feel at ease with your financial status, income, and schedule. Live loudly with luxury, allowing yourself to enjoy the abundance that you've created. It is now time to celebrate and treat yourself, whether it's buying that item you've had your eye on or giving yourself time to rest. By staying true to yourself and your vision, you are improving the quality of your life. Show your true colors by saying yes to your independent spirit and the creations you are bringing forth into this world. Acknowledge your accomplishments and what it took for you to get to this place of fulfillment and satisfaction. Rich in inspiration, connect and replenish the unique beauty that you possess and provide in the world. I'm reading this and I'm thinking, Laura, this is you. This is 100% you because of all the success that you've had and your recent purchase that so aligns with what impact you want to have in the world. I fully believe that this is Laura. Laura's been killing it in her consulting business. I won't divulge too much information, but she has this dream of having an animal sanctuary, and she just was able to make a purchase of a property that will be the first step in her being able to open that up. So let's celebrate Laura. The next one is upside down hanged woman. So this is what the card looks like. So she's, hanging. The hanged woman is not necessarily a bad thing. Like it doesn't represent death or being like, hanged in real life. But it does speak to some struggles. So we're going to read the meaning. And I'm not going to, this is pretty straightforward. Like if you're in a point in your business where you are starting to make some money and you're seeing success and like things are working, this is just a sign for you to actually celebrate that. Okay. So often when we reach our business goals, we get to this point and we're like, okay, well, what's the next big goal? We keep moving the mark on ourselves rather than actually sit down and look at everything that we've accomplished and actually celebrate it. So if you're at that point in your business, like, like you're ambitious and you want to grow further, but take a hot second to actually celebrate what you've done. Okay. You've worked hard to get to this point. Give yourself some fucking credit. Okay. All right. So the Hanged Woman, upside down, represents avoidance, sacrifice, and delay. So I'm not sure who this is meant for. If any of these cards resonate for you, then please pop your thoughts in the chat. So putting a lot of effort and energy into a situation or person is wearing you down, especially when you are not seeing the return. Stop sacrificing your time and values to please other people. If you're putting off a decision to avoid confrontation or responsibility, it may come back to haunt you. The time will come when you finally have to speak your truth. Feeling stuck and unfulfilled is increasing your awareness of what you do want. This suspension in time is actually a blessing in disguise. Meditate on your issues so that you can gain a much needed clarity before making any moves. Utilize patience, sit still, and realize your life is bigger than this one moment. There are always other options, and they will reveal themselves to you as you keep going forward on your path. Hi, Jason. Welcome. We're doing a little business tarot card reading today. It's funny. I was just having a conversation with someone, I won't say who, about how it can be really uncomfortable to let people go from your business. I know one of the things that led to this conversation is I was sharing about my very first assistant and how she was a very smart person. She graduated from almost Ivy League school. And also she had no get up and go. She had no initiative. She didn't know how to be an assistant. Like, she'd never done it before. And, as someone with ADHD, I really struggled because I struggled to prioritize for myself, and figuring out how to prioritize for someone else when I don't really understand what it is I can outsource to them is really hard, right? Especially when they don't know how to insert themselves into the business. I stuck with her for too long. I did. And ending that relationship was the right move to make for my business, for me, for her, for everyone. And also, it was taking too much energy for me to keep her in the business. It was too much. So when this shows up in your business, and if this resonates for you, please put it in the chat. If there's something that is draining you, if there's something that you're pouring a lot into and not getting enough out of, stop avoiding dealing with it, because it's going to create bigger problems down the road. Okay. And it happens for so many of us, right? This year, I hired another wrong person that I was working with for a year and a half, my last OBM. Unfortunately, she didn't understand how to create the systems, and she didn't tell me that she didn't understand how to create the systems. We've now had to burn down everything that she built for me. And it is unfortunate. It was a lot of time and money and energy wasted building something that just did not work, because it couldn't work. But it had to happen. I had to burn it down, and I had to be able to scale my business in a different way. Let me see. Joe Kane. Hi. I love tarot. Do you subscribe to the 13th zodiac sign of Ophiuchus? I can't pronounce that. Anyway, I've actually never heard of that. I'm a dabbler. I should clarify. I'm a dabbler. I have lots of tarot cards. I actually love using tarot cards to help me do content. As a business owner, it's like you're a full-time content creation or creator in addition to doing what you need to do for your business. Anything that can spark ideas for you to create content is a-okay in my book. And oftentimes, if I'm feeling particularly stuck and I don't really know what to post about, I'll pull a card and I'll read the meaning of the card, and it usually sparks an idea of something that my clients struggle with. And then of course, like I start doing readings for myself, and sometimes like a client, if they're feeling particularly stuck, I'll do one. And then of course I've started doing this, which is so much fun. But I don't subscribe to that because I didn't know about it, but it's something that I will be looking up after this. All right, let me get some water from my massive sippy cup. I always feel like I'm a toddler. Okay, the dogs erupt. Excuse me for a second. There's a leaf blowing or something happening outside. Okay, excuse me. Guys, all right. There's a man outside on his phone in front of the house, and something's happening. I don't know what's happening, but they do not like him. Anyway, so if you're just joining us, welcome. We're doing a little Thursday tarot card reading. The dogs are providing some background music for today. And I pulled some cards before we started. I like pulling cards to kind of see what's going on for people in general. And it's usually like the first one, the 9 of Pentacles came up, and this was absolutely our first watcher. The Hanged Woman came up, all about, really leaning into that uncomfortable conversation that you're avoiding. Next, we have the 9 of Cups. And if you have a question about your business, if you want guidance, then please put your question. It can be as vague as you want. Please put it in the comments. I will pull a card for you. And I will offer you my 2 cents as a business strategist and money mindset coach. Okay, so we're playing with the mystical, but we're also doing the practical advice here. Okay, so we have the Knight of Cups. This guy has shown up a fair bit recently, and I wish I remembered all the things about him, but I don't. So we're gonna read it. All right. Ooh, yeah, that's right. Okay, so the Knight of Cups represents romantic, emotional elation, and adoration. So the Knight of Cups is a charmer, a seducer, a lover. You may receive a romantic inquiry from a person of interest. The Knight of Cups is very in tune with his intuition and not afraid of a deep conversation. His emotions play a key. Oh my God, for fuck's sake, these dogs. I'm like, ugh. Guys, hey, downstairs, you're done. Yeah, enough. Yeah, enough. He's not harming anyone. He's just standing there. Do you guys have dogs? I know Laura does. Geez Louise. It's like they need everyone to know that there's this person standing outside. Okay. The Knight of Cups is very in tune with his intuition and not afraid of a deep conversation. His emotions play a key part in his life and rule his decision making. The Knight of Cups prances in as a person, an event, or a part of yourself that will bring you to high spirits. Regardless of gender, there is chemistry between the two of you that is simply undeniable. The Knight of Cups urges you to shine a light on your vision and encourages you to take the plunge. He wears his heart on his sleeve and openly expresses his adoration for you. He is a sign that whatever you choose to do, you will be emotionally supported in the process. You've got some serious game. Receive the love that's coming your way. So hi, Drew. Welcome. Hi. You love the way the dogs respond inquisitively to me. I mean, I wish they responded better to me, like in actually doing what I wanted them to say or wanted them to do, but what are you going to do? Anyway, so the Knight of Cups is all about this like really, really chemistry driven connection that you have. I'm also picking up this is like trust. Like there's this relationship we all have with our businesses, right? Our businesses are actually like partners with us. Like it's not just something that we're doing. It's not something we're creating. It's actually its own entity, right? So whenever I have a client who's like really stuck in their business and like things keep going wrong, one of the questions I ask is like, if your business were an actual person, how would they view the relationship with you, right? Would they trust you? Would they be having fun with you? Would they feel like you're just kind of checked out, or that you are really just kind of being a micromanager about stuff? You know, the relationship that you have with your business is very much like the relationship you have with money. When you allow for your business to show up as a partner and have fun with it, and actually like maybe not let your emotions drive the boat, but let your emotions inform like what is going on in the world and what you should be doing, it's so much more powerful. It's so much more powerful. There's this belief system that when you start a business, like you're quitting your 9 to 5 to like work for yourself and work 24/7. No, if you're working 24/7 in your business, you're doing it wrong. When you work 24/7, you max yourself out, you burn yourself out, you lose access to your intuition, right? So when you lose access to your intuition, you also lose access to your creativity, right? And your creativity is where all the fun lies, right? So this is just a reminder. I'm taking it as this, that you need to really tune into what's happening inside for you. And let that kind of guide where you're going in your business, and let your business kind of like inspire you to what you need to do next. You know, one of the things that I did last year, I'm a big believer that when you start a business, like stop getting certifications, stop going for trainings, because when you're trying to create an offer, it's really easy to feel like, okay, well, I don't feel qualified yet to be doing this. So let me go and get more trainings and more certifications. And you have this belief system that that's going to make you more qualified, that people are going to see that and think, oh my God, I need to hire them. What it actually does is it creates more confusion in what it is that you do, right? Because you now have too many tools to use, right? It's like you get overwhelmed by all the stuff you could do, and you're not really sure how to distill that down into one offer, right? So when I started my business, I made a very clear rule for myself: no more certifications. Like, I was trained and certified as a coach. I'd taken one class in Oris that I didn't really like, and that's organizational relationship systems coaching. It's basically group coaching. Didn't like it. Just decided I'm going to just hone in on what I do. Now, throughout the years, I've worked through my own money mindset journey, and I realized I was helping my clients. I was coaching my clients through a lot of money mindset stuff, and I wanted more training, right? So I let my business inform me as to what training I should pursue after that. So whatever message you feel like you're getting from your business, this is kind of a sign to follow that, and also trust your intuition, trust your emotions around what you want. If you have that deep connection to what you want and you feel excited for it, you're far more likely to succeed with it. All right. Rather than this is the next thing I'm just supposed to do. I'd like to pose a question. How can I price my services while still being accessible to those who are struggling financially but want to work with me? Oh, yeah. I mean, Andrew, I'm going to pull a card for you, but I have an answer also. Let me see. I'm going to put these back in the deck. Actually, let me remember these. Ace of Swords, Six of Cups. Ace of Swords, Six of Cups. Ace of Swords, Six of Cups. Okay. All right. I have really small hands. I don't know if you guys know this, if you've ever noticed, or if you can tell. I don't have large enough hands to actually shuffle the deck. Which is kind of a funny thing to admit, but like I literally have hands that some children have bigger hands than I do. So anyway, oh gosh. Okay. So Andrea, you got the 10 of Swords. So that is a lady laying face down with 10 swords sticking into her back. Not very comfortable. Not something we generally want to do in our day-to-day life. So let's look up what the literal meaning of this is. Okay. Okay, so the Ten of Swords represents betrayal, fatality, and backstabbed. Yeah, not good. Stabbed in the back without any warning, leaving you feeling betrayed by those you trust. Do you fight back or let it go? This unexpected setback feels like failure on all levels, and you're looking for someone to take the blame, even if that means yourself. Sacrificing your needs can inadvertently, oh, here we go. This goes into the answer. Sacrificing your needs can inadvertently allow people to take advantage of you. This is a low blow to your self-esteem, and it will take time to get it back up again. Be careful of playing the victim and throwing a pity party to get attention. Losses often feel like failures, but try to look at this as a painful transition to beginning anew. Bad news is usually hard to swallow, but you cannot grow without change, even if it's terrible. Times are difficult, but you can only go up from here. With the rise of the sun, the dawn is bringing a new day. So yeah, you can see the sun is coming up in the background. Yeah, ouch, ouch. Yeah, that's it's quite a card to get. My answer as a business strategist, whenever I'm asked, you want to be able to help people who can't necessarily afford the prices that you could be charging. The card represents exactly that. Like, you can't help other people if you're not helping yourself first, right? So for my clients, when they come to me and they, have a service where they are helping people. Hi, Peter, welcome. Where they're helping people and, they want to make sure that their services are accessible to people who can't necessarily afford it. What they can often fall into is the trap of serving the lowest client, the client who can afford the least amount of money. And what that does is you don't make enough money to live, right? Like, you have a meat suit, like you live in a meat suit, and you have to be able to feed yourself and afford food and shelter and water and, maybe clothes from time to time. You can't do that if you're not making enough money to live. So what I want to remind you of, this is for everyone, is as you are starting your business, if it's meant to really have impact on the world and you want to help people who can't afford you, that will happen. You're going to create some kind of system in your business that allows for that to happen. But you need to make sure that you're making enough to live on first, right? So in a coaching business, this would look like having a top tier offer where you're working with like a higher level of client who can afford that higher level service. And you're really supporting them. You're giving them that top tier service, and support. And then as you build the business and as you get enough of these clients, you can create other programs, like maybe a group program that's more affordable to people who can't work with you one-on-one. Maybe there's a digital course that's, again, more affordable from the group program. Maybe there's a membership. Maybe at some point you introduce like a scholarship option in your one-on-one coaching, right? And it can just be something like you can pick a cause or like a certain archetype of person that you want to support, and have that be part of how you make yourself accessible to the people that you really want to help. We have this weird model in our mind of, if you're going to help people, if you're going to be that person who pays it forward and really supports the community outside of you, that you have to be broke. Like, you have to not have any possessions. Like having money and being a helper do not go hand in hand. And I genuinely think we get this from Christianity. I do. Because we look at all these different churches, we look at the acolytes that, work in the church, nuns, monks, priests, they take a vow of poverty, right? They take a vow where they're going to give up all of their possessions, right? We lob onto this belief and we're like, okay, cool. Like, that's the model. If you want to help people, that's the model. You have to like commit yourself to not having anything. I want to point out that like the Catholic Church is a multi-billion-dollar organization, right? If you become a nun or a monk or a priest in the Catholic Church, you're not going hungry. You're not like lacking for places to sleep. Your safety is not in question. you have resources behind you. You have a lot of resources behind you. You have a whole organization that will make sure that you get fed and that you have shelter. And in some cases that if you do something illegal, that they will protect you. like, eh. So just want to remind you as you're building a business that like you are allowed and you are entitled to make really good money while you help people. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. There's no rule against it. We have this weird archetype also of people who have a lot of money being evil and greedy and awful. And here's something I want to offer is that money makes you more of who you are. Okay. So if you are like a selfish, greedy person, having more money will just make you more of a selfish, greedy person. Absolutely. Scrooge McDuck was already fucked, right? He's always going to be that. But if you are a kind and generous person who genuinely wants to support others and lift up your community, having money will only help you do more of that, right? I had a client a while back who was a recovering teacher, right? She was leaving the teaching industry and wanting to become a coach consultant. And one of the questions I had for her when we were talking about working together was, are you willing to make more money? Right? Because oftentimes when someone has been in a helping position, like being a teacher or a nurse, there is this like pride that goes along with being borderline in poverty and working a shit ton of hours. Like the hard work with the minimal pay is that badge of honor that you are good at your job, that you are good in your industry. It's not necessarily true though. And it's not something that translates well into a business, right? So like one of the things that she was really passionate about is going surfing. She loves surfing. And I asked her, if you were to make $300,000 a year, what would you do each year? And she said, very honestly, I'd take my family and we would go down to Costa Rica for a few weeks a year and go surfing. And I asked her, cool, like when you go, are you going to make sure to support like local businesses that are consciously poisoning the environment, that like really like take advantage of underpaid labor, that do all these awful things to terrorize the people around them? And she said, no, absolutely not. I'm going to support local family run businesses. I'm going to, buy shit that's going to help pay taxes, which will help, them fund schools and fire departments and roads and all the things. When you have money, you get to pay more into the society around you, right? So like you can absolutely charge a lot of money to help people who genuinely want your help. You can create systems within your business that allows you to pay it forward to people who can't necessarily afford to work with you. And you can use that power and influence that you get from having more wealth to impact your society at large. Like this could be your family, this could be your small town, this could be your city, your whole community, your state, wherever you are and how much impact you want to have. Like it's all a lot easier when you have money. So I hope that's a long answer to a question about how do you become more accessible. There's so many ways to be more accessible in what you do, but you have to prioritize yourself first, right? Because you're not going to be able to do all those things if you're barely if you're barely making it every single month, if you're barely able to buy groceries or pay your rent or your mortgage. There's no way you're going to be able to be the best version of yourself for your clients, much less have that greater impact on your community, right? So it feels selfish when you first start out and you're like, I charge this much, but you just kind of have to get over it. And a lot of getting over it is doing that deep money work. Okay. But that's a great question. If anyone has any other questions about your business, I am doing a business tarot card reading. I'm using my Mystic Mondays deck. I also have, forget what the name of this one is, this new deck, the Luminous Void Tarot. Happy to pull a card from either one. And of course, I'm pulling the card, reading the meaning of the card, making sense of the meaning of the card, and also giving you my perspective as a business strategist and coach. Let me see. I'm going to pull a couple more cards just for the world at large. It's funny. The Nine of Swords just showed up again. Okay. There's always cards that have similar meanings. So I'm going to see if there's another card that pops up that has a very similar meaning. But yeah, any question you have about your business, about money mindset, about how to get clients, about your marketing, please pop it in the chat. I did a really embarrassing thing last night. I went live on TikTok for an hour and 45 minutes. And I didn't realize this, but I had set up, like, accidentally done the settings so that only people who were a paid subscriber of mine could comment. So for like an hour, I'm sitting here on live knitting and just talking business stuff, waiting for people to actually comment and ask for something. And then someone did subscribe to tell me that they weren't able to comment. Super embarrassing. Anyway. But yes, Andrea, I hope that answers the question. Got the Princess of Pentacles. All right. Okay. The Princess of Pentacles represents a thirst for knowledge, grounded and practical. Make your dreams a reality. You have a clear vision in mind and are now setting plans in action to make it happen. You are open to further education to expand your knowledge. This includes learning new practical skills that you can directly apply to your life. You have a thirst for learning, fueling your entrepreneurial spirit with curiosity and wonder. This is a time to collect resources, build assets, and pursue real-world goals. It's easy to get lost in your dreams, but the Princess of Pentacles asks you to remain grounded in order to apply your creativity for use in the real world. Love this. By reframing work as play, you allow yourself to approach learning as a new adventure. Move forward with reason and practicality, and set your sights forward to expand. Realize your potential by allowing yourself to grow. So this ties along with a lot of the other cards that we've gotten so far, and I'm blanking on what they were, about trusting your business and letting, like, the creativity and feelings that are coming out of that relationship between you and your business really inform where you go next. It's funny. I just had my very first guest on my podcast, the Weenie Cast, which if you haven't checked out, please go check it out, weeniecast.com. And we were talking about how, oftentimes when someone starts a business, you have this fear that because something's hard for you that you can't do it. And then that's like a judgment on how smart you are, right? Because a lot of my clients have ADHD, right? And we've, grown up in a system that is not designed for us. It's not designed for people who are neurotypical. And throughout schooling, throughout our younger lives, we were constantly treated like there was something wrong with us, that we couldn't do things the way they were being told to us. You asking for help and seeking out further education on stuff that you were never taught does not mean that you're not smart. It doesn't mean that you're not capable. It doesn't mean that you can't figure it out. It just means, like, you are speeding up the process and investing in help that will, like, answer questions that you don't even know to ask, right? This is one of the reasons why people end up working with me, right? They are an expert at what they do. They are an expert lawyer. They are an expert coach. They are an expert in a certain field, and they want to do consulting for that field. At no point in their life were they ever taught how to actually start a business, right? And so, there's this belief, hi, Javi, welcome. There's this belief that people get all warped up in their head that you should be able to figure it out on your own, right? Because there's been so much that you've had to figure out on your own in previous times of your life. You can absolutely figure this out on your own. There's not a person out there who can't figure out how to start a business. It's a question of how long do you want to let that take, right? leaning into learning things is one of the best ways to accelerate the whole process, right? You can absolutely learn French on your own through books and, maybe some online course and maybe going to France. But you're going to learn a fuck ton faster if you just invest in some immersive French classes, right? Where there's someone there who's correcting your grammar, correcting your conjugation, correcting your use of words. There were a lot of those that were problematic when I lived in France. There was one time where we were asked what our dreams were, like what we wanted to do in our lives, like what would make us feel most fulfilled. And I was sitting next to this Australian gal, and she was a nurse, right? And so she and her husband had moved to France, and she was taking this language course so that she could get a job as a nurse. And I was just there because I wanted to learn French, and I was a French major. And she answered that she wanted to go and nurse the world, right? She wanted to go and like provide nursing services to the whole world and be supportive in that way. And the teacher was like, no, pasa, and came over and like whispered in her ear what she'd actually said. And she burst out laughing because she had done a direct translation of what she wanted to do. And what she had accidentally said in French was that she wanted to go out and just breastfeed the whole world. So like, I want you to imagine she could have gone around saying that that was what she wanted to do, and everyone would have just been like, oh my God, who's going to tell her? Maybe that's actually what she wants. Maybe she wants to breastfeed everyone. And like, no, thank you. I don't want to be breastfed by you. I had like mine. Oh God, mine was even worse. I'm not even going to get into it here. It's like turning red just thinking about it. But like there's stuff like that happens in your business, right? You don't know what you don't know. And sometimes like what you're trying to do, the way you do it is just wrong. And you're not going to know because you don't know what you don't know. Kind of a little tangent there. Hobby, wow, those are big dreams. I know, right? I wish I remembered her name. She was such a nice human. I learned French through immersion, getting on a plane with no knowledge and becoming fluent in 3 months. Being hungry was a huge motivator. I learned through grocery shopping. Oh my God, that's so impressive. Yeah, it took me about 5 months, and I unfortunately haven't really used it in the last decade, so I've forgotten a lot. Hobby, LOL. I know. Big dreams. Yep. Just yeah, I'm loving the theme here today. It's all about creativity and like tuning into yourself and trusting your intuition and letting your emotions guide you, right? Because I mean, I think we're taught that running a business is supposed to be like cold and logical and all this stuff, and it's actually not. Like businesses that are run the best are the ones that are a blend of logic and passion and intuition. We got the 5 of Wands. In the last couple decades, they've done a lot of research, like in everything, right? But some of the research has shown that, we have neurons in our brains, like that's how we do thinking. We also have neurons throughout our heart tissue and throughout our digestive tracts, right? So, that feeling when you know something in your heart, like you know it, it's just here. And, like it's unwavering knowledge. There's no doubt that is the right thing for you to do or the right person for you to be around. You actually do know it in your heart. Okay. There are neurons in your heart that do thinking for you, that store memories for you. As a Western culture, we're not taught to trust it, right? We're taught like all the thinking happens up here. And if it's not coming from up here, and we can sense when we're thinking up here and when we're thinking here and when we're thinking in our gut, right? We know the difference, right? And we oftentimes discredit the feelings we have in our heart and our gut because they don't have logic behind them. right? They don't have like a well thought out plan, and they haven't been vetted by like the scare identifier, the scary identifier in our brains that's meant to determine how much risk is involved in something. There's no language center in our hearts and our guts. So like, it's a feeling. It's not necessarily a complete thought, but you actually do know things in your heart. And actually, like the things that you know in your heart, because they don't have that doubt center, it's usually something that you know you're capable of, right? The same from your gut. You know, when you get a gut instinct and like you just sense something's happening around you, and then all of a sudden like you make a decision to maybe like go back inside after going into a parking lot because you had this gut instinct that there was something off. And then sure enough, something happened in the parking lot. Like maybe there was someone waiting to try to mug the next person who came out. Learning to trust that intuition is one of the most impactful things to your life to allow you to live longer, for one. But also like trusting your gut and your heart. You learn to like kind of follow the feeling of where you should be going next. And it's not logical, but it always, and I say this knowing it has always worked for me in a roundabout way, maybe it always ends up working out. Like we have a consciousness that we're tuned into through our heart and our gut that like we override too much with our head. And really what I'm getting with a lot of the cards that we're pulling today is to lean more into these areas, these thinking areas. It's also where a lot of your creativity comes from, your intuition and your heart knowledge, because you're drawn to certain things, right? They're like, you're drawn to someone or maybe a comedian who sparks an idea for you. You're drawn to learn something about something because you find it interesting or beautiful. And then that sparks an idea for the business you want to start. Yeah, it's my little rant there. 5 of Wands. What does that mean? And if you have a question, if you're starting a business, if you're in the middle of growing your business, if you want some guidance, please pop a question, any question, vague or detailed, in the comments. I will answer it with the meaning of the card that I pull, and I will also answer it as a business strategist and money mindset coach. Okay. You're getting both this time. The 5 of Wands. Okay. I love this. Okay, so the 5 of Wands represents competition, diversity, and rivalry. Joe Kane. Oh, happy Thanksgiving. Gratitude. It helps change brain chemistry. Absolutely. Gratitude's amazing. Okay. The smell of competition is in the air. Everybody around you seems to have an opinion, and no one is willing to listen. A little competition never hurt nobody, but only if people are willing to compromise down the line. If you're seen as a rival, it's only because you have many talents to offer that cannot be ignored. Diversity is good and much needed, whether it is opinions or culture. Differences can allow for greater understanding and compassion on a human level. Being seen and heard is everyone's desire. And if you want that for yourself, you must be willing to do the same for someone else. There may be an inner conflict playing out where you are pulled by different parts of yourself. Tune into what you truly want. Only you know what is best for you. Like, holy shit, that is exactly what I was just talking about. That competition between your brain thinking, your mind, your heart thinking, and your gut thinking. There are always going to be like tugs and different like pressures to do this and do that and do this and do that inside you. And it comes from different parts of your brain and your heart and your gut. And I think a lot of us are taught through our culture that doing what you want is a selfish thing to do. And really, your intuition, like wanting things, is really your intuition saying this is what's going to be good for you in the long term, right? And I'm not talking about craving things. Craving things is a different thing. That's like when you're craving chocolate cake, that is when you're craving something, it's like pleasure oriented. Okay. When you deeply want something, that's very different, you know? Um, when you deeply want to be healthy, when you deeply want like a deep connection with another human being, when you deeply want to have fulfilling work, okay, that is like this part of your thinking saying this is what's going to be best for you. Um, cravings are chemistry, right? Um, let me see. I just got a message on Instagram. I want to make sure I'm getting everyone's comments. Oh, it was a client. Okay, never mind. He's not trying to comment. Anyway, so yeah, we have about 15 minutes left. I'm only going live for about an hour today for this tarot card reading. So whatever questions you have on your business, on your money mindset, on how you can attract clients, do marketing, do all the things, then please pop your question into the comments. Ooh, that was like a whole chunk of cards. I don't think that meant anything. Okay, well, that came out. So how did it go? Five of Cups. This is a conflict one. Get the Five of Cups a lot. Okay. The Five of Cups represents disappointment, setback, and perspective. Before I do this, I want to answer Hobby's card. What's my favorite tarot card? I don't know that I have a favorite, but the one that showed up for me every single time except for 3 times over a 7-month period when I was doing readings for myself. And just so you know, I do readings for myself once or twice a week, more around the new moon, because I have a little group that I do like a new moon thing with. The King of Pentacles showed up for me every single reading except for 3. And I only pull 3 cards for myself when I pull them. And he just kept showing up. And it's the King of Pentacles is all about being that large and in charge energy, like having confidence in what you have to bring, having confidence in the value you provide, having confidence in like the fact that money is coming into you. You know, the first half of this year was really challenging. I'm fairly open about this, but I don't know if you're here and you haven't heard this, I want to be very open. Started off with my dog getting so sick. She got the canine flu that was going around last year, which was so dangerous. If you can get your dog's vaccine and they're vaccinated for it, please do. She got that. And then she also got viral pneumonia and she almost died. She's the love of my life. She's my child. She's my baby. And so she literally had to be in the ICU at Penn for 5 nights, which is very expensive, but also like for those 5 nights, they told me that the only reason that they would call is if like a bad decision needed to be made. And that they would call with updates at like in 3-hour windows in the morning and in the evening. So the whole time I had my phone on and the sound on, dreading getting a phone call, except in those 3 hours. And then of course, like, I'm just like, when are they calling? When are they calling? Because I didn't want to miss the call because calling back was such a mess. When you're trying to call a doctor back. Anyway, so that happened. And then very shortly after, I realized that the OBM that I'd had working in my business for about 1.5 years, I've basically been creating workaround, and things were starting to fall apart. And she couldn't keep up with fixing them anymore. So like I kept having to put out fires and fires and fires and fires. And my clients were starting to notice a lot of the mistakes that were happening on her team were client facing, right? So it wasn't just that we were having to clean up stuff in the back end. I was then having to do the customer service and apologize to my clients who pay me a lot of money. And so we had to discontinue working together. I just couldn't do it anymore. And when I brought someone new in, we had to scrap everything. we had to scrap absolutely everything that she'd built for me. There was not one thing that wasn't fucked up, and it was a nightmare. And, I had to really wind down some programs that were, income generators for me because I just didn't trust them. And I've slowly been rebuilding everything and switching over into new systems and all this stuff. And Javi, you're actually a part of this. Anyway, but the fact that he kept showing up kept giving me faith that like what I was doing was correct. What I was doing was like the right choice, even though it was hard, even though it was scary, even though it was so stress inducing and it felt like, oh God, is this the right choice? It was just that constant reminder of, nope, you're good. Like have confidence. You're making moves that are correct for your business, and it's all inviting further success in. So do I have a favorite tarot card? I guess it would be the King of Pentacles. And I can actually show you, I'll show you him. He's so cute. He's a good looking man. I don't know if you can kind of see. That's the card. I would try to find it, but it's kind of hard to pull one card out of a deck. Anyway, but yeah, good question. All right. So I'm going to read about the Five of Cups. Is the glass half full or half empty? Disappointing setbacks have got you in a rut. This downfall is regressing you back to painful memories where expectations fell short. Bitter and broken, you are filled with resentment over what has happened to you, taking the loss personally. It's okay to give yourself a moment to feel bad, but it is your decision how long you wallow in it. Forgive the people who have hurt you in the past, including yourself, for believing that they have the power to hurt you. Instead of thinking how much this sucks, reflect back on the lessons you learned. It may take some time for this sting to go away, so let yourself heal through this process. You'll come out of it a much wiser human than when you started. Yeah. I mean, there are always going to be mistakes that you make in relationships, in your business, in your life, in your self-care. Oops, we got poor connection. We're reconnecting. The lesson that we need to learn is to learn the lesson. Especially with ADHD business owners, when we make a mistake, we sometimes can make it like, oh, well, I'm broken. There's something wrong with me. I don't know what I'm doing. This is hard, blah, blah, blah. Everyone else can do it and I can't. That's not helpful. That's not helpful at all. And it's also not true, right? Just because something doesn't go your way, like that's just data. That's just data. Like something didn't happen the way you wanted it to happen. Great. You can learn from it, so like if you're launching a program and it doesn't get any clients, like there's a lot of data in that. Like maybe it was too expensive. Maybe your marketing strategy needed some work. Maybe you didn't do a good enough job building your personal brand before you launched it. It doesn't necessarily mean that like the program was bad or that you're a bad business owner or that you're not meant to do this thing. It just means that there has to be something to change, right? And maybe it is the program that's bad, but we need to actually look at things from a clear perspective and not get all wrapped up in I'm the failure and in that self-judgment and really pay attention to what's the data, what's the thing that is going to be most helpful for me to make this successful in the future. Oh man, Joe Kane asking the deep questions. What is the most relevant standard by which to compare personal success? And I want to clarify, compare personal success to other people or to yourself. I'm gonna answer the question as if it's for other people. The most relevant standard to compare personal success is really happiness. It's happiness. It's happiness can also be like that high level, like ecstaticness. And that's not necessarily a measure of like success. It's contentedness. It's feeling like you are here on purpose, that you have enough control to feel like you have agency in your own life. It's feeling like you get to spend time on the things that matter to you. You know, and it's going to be massively different for some people, right? Some people love working. I love working. I can't imagine ever retiring. Like I'm going to be 94 and working until like the day I die. There's no way. I will probably dial back at some point, but I always want to be working. For other people, they hate working. Like they want to work as much as they can to make as much money as they can, so that they can retire as soon as they can. And for them, that is going to be fulfilling. So there's really no measure that's quantifiable across the board, except for that level of contentedness, that ability to do what you want, when you want to do it, with whom you want to do it. That is the magic equation right there. The really hard thing about that is most people have no fucking idea what that is. One of the things that I found kind of depressing after I went through coach training, because you learn all these powerful questions and you learn how to ask really deep questions to get people thinking about who they are and what they want in life. And I remember going to people in my family and in my friend group and asking them, what do you want? Like, full stop. What do you want? And they were like, well, what do you mean? What do I want for dinner? Like, what do I want to do this weekend? And I'm like, no, just what do you want in life? And all but one or two, can't remember exactly. First answer was, oh God, I don't know. Like no one's ever asked me that before. And then the follow-up answer was just, I don't know. Like maybe this would be nice. And then they changed topics. One of the best gifts that you can give yourself as a human is figuring out what you want. And I know a lot of us are afraid to even figure that out, because what if we want something that we can't have? Like that is really scary to us. It's like that unrequited love. You want something that you can't actually ever accomplish or have in this life. The thing about wanting, that deep wanting, that is like that intuition on what's going to be good for you is, if you want it, it's actually a sign that you're meant to have it and that you having it will be better for everyone. Okay. So like one of the things that I deeply want is a beautiful, warm, welcoming home where I get to have like this really like awesome, like home base. I get to do my work out of it. Hi, Leo, welcome. And I also want to have like a massive, like acres large garden. And I want to spend a lot of time there. I want to employ people to help me like keep it up, because I'm not going to be trusted to do that. I want to have chickens. I want to have ducks. And if you want to, like people like to think of names for the ducks. If you have any suggestions, please pop them in the chat. And really, I want to have like a farm stand out front of my house. And I want this farm stand to be in front of like a barn where events can be held. And I want to have, community yoga once a week or something. And I want to be able to host people in my town there. What the, is that a name for a duck, Leah? Or are you just saying, what the hell? Javi, yes, we are back to duck names. like we weren't going to end up back on duck names. Come on. But this farm stand that I have this vision for, I'll have like fresh vegetables, like anything that I'm growing will be there during the winter. Hopefully I'll sell preserves and things like that. I'll host like different chefs to do classes for kids and families on how to make preserves, all the proceeds of which I want to donate to local family pantries, like local organizations. What the duck? Yes. Leah, okay, that's going to happen. That's going to be one of the names of the ducks. It's going on the list. I want to have this all be like a fundraiser for, different organizations that feed the food insecure. And also, like, I want there to be baskets of produce and eggs and things that if you can't afford to go grocery shopping, if you just don't have the money, you can just come up, no questions asked, and take what you need. There you go. And Not that this has anything to do with what I do for work. It has nothing to do with being a business strategist. It has nothing to do with money mindset or any of that stuff. It's just that, I've grown up in a small town where there are farm stands, and it does create community around it. And I think when a community pulls together and has that common thread, it's so much stronger, and it's so much more able to take care of its members, because it's like you have this awareness of what's going on for everyone, um, and to have this greater impact as well, of being able to, any money that's made from that farm stand and from those classes that I'll do in this events barn that's going to have a full kitchen, um, to be able to have that impact. Families, that are really struggling, like that's an impact that I want to have. Right. So like that kind of wanting, like, I know that that's possible for me. The fact that I want that, the fact that I'm so specific about it, that I'm like already thinking of duck names. And Leah, if you come to steal my ducks, you are just asking for a fight. And also, I don't know that it's going to be like very easy for you to get on a plane to go from the United States back to the UK with ducks in your bag. Like, you got to think this through. It'll be the end of our friendship for one. And also, you could be put in jail for like duck smuggling. Like, who knows? That could be a thing. One of the reasons I want to have ducks. Oh, sad face. I know. I'm so mean. You can come and visit the ducks anytime you want. Like, you can come and hang out with them. You can name them when they're little ducklings. You can come and take pictures with them, whatever you want. Hi, David. David, if you're just joining, we're back to talking about names for ducks. Leah has already thrown in what the duck. So that's a name. But yeah, so like that whole, back to the deep question of, how do you compare personal success? It's, does the person have what they want? Howard the Duck, gotta go. Thanks for answering. Yeah, but Howard the Duck is a boy's name, and you can really only have one male duck, or else they can fight, and it's not great. Leah, I feel like I derailed this. You know what? I don't even remember what the original point was. I got excited talking about ducks and about my garden and about the farm stand I want to do. It's fine. Can we still do Duck Norris? Yes, but like, we need more female names, David. We can't. Ducker Carlson. Yes, but Javi, that's a boy's name. We need girls' names. Ducker Carlson. And also, I don't want a Fox News person. No, thank you. Right. Tucker Carlson is Fox News, right? I'm remembering that correctly. I'm so bad with names. Anyway, if anyone has a question, this is technically a business tarot card reading. We've gone off the rails, clearly. If you have a question, I'm going to be pulling one or two more. But yeah, and I'm curious, what's a part of your big dream? If you want to pop it in the chat, what's something that you want more than anything that might feel big or scary or silly or whatever? Dakita Norris. Sure, David. Yeah, we'll use Dakita Norris. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. You know what I could also probably do if I want to have the farm stand and like the whole little farm that I have, really raise money for like family pantries and stuff, is I could probably get people to like sponsor a duck to be named what they want it to be named. And then oh my God. And then I could have, I could send them like Christmas cards and birthday cards from their duck. That is going in the vision board for sure. Yeah, you can sponsor a duck for, $300 a year. All proceeds go to the family pantry in the area and support local families, and help food insecurity. And you get a little note from your duck. That'd be really cute. That would actually be like a really fun little news story. you'd get Ducky McDuck face. Oh my gosh. It's like Bodie McBoat face, the recommendation for that new UK research vessel. I can't remember. Okay, we got the Princess of Wands. Again, like creativity is our thing today. Creativity, being in tune with emotions, that wanting intuition. Okay, so the Princess of Wands is all about creative expression, spark, and the free spirit. Okay, so positive and passionate. The Princess of Wands dances with lighthearted abandon. She has an enthusiastic outlook on life and is brimming with ideas that she is dying to share with others. Like my ducks. Open to discovery, she yearns for adventure, wanting to try anything and everything. By exploring the unknown, you learn more about yourself in the process. She is a catalyst for change, bringing a burst of inspiration to begin new projects for you to continue forging your path toward your vision. Creative self-expression is her mantra, and she encourages you to be exactly who you are, to step into the spotlight and to show your true colors. She often brings exciting news, from surprises to fresh ideas. The possibilities are endless. Live inspired and free as can be. It's our ducky day. I tried. Javi, the duck puns are strong with you. Yeah, I mean, if there's any part of you that you're hiding, if there's any like excitement that you have for life that you're not sharing with the world, like I want this card and this little moment to be your wake up call to go and share it with someone. Right? You don't have to splash it about on social media, but if there's some idea that you have, like go and call your business bestie about it. If there's something that you are passionate about creating in the world that has nothing to do with your business, go and start doing it. Like start sharing that. I think often we edit who we are around people because we feel like we have to hold ourselves back because we have to be like who we think will make them comfortable. This whole setup where I'm doing tarot card readings on the interwebs, this is outside my comfort zone. This is one of my practices that I've done to push myself outside of my comfort zone, because I used to think that people would judge the crap out of me. And maybe they do. Maybe they think this is absolutely ridiculous and it loses some credibility for me. I hope it doesn't. But this is also who I am, right? This is also who I am. I love finding random messages in, oh, that card again. I love finding random messages and turning it into business lessons. So whatever it is that you're passionate about, like go and be open about it to someone, right? Show yourself that it's not going to ruin you. It's actually going to like let people have fun with you and engage with you in a completely different way. And it'll allow for you to step into the spotlight more completely, right? Because when there are parts of you that you're trying to hide, there are parts of you that like you're worried people will judge you for, like all that feeds into being a little more closed off when you're in the spotlight, right? And if you've been around me for a while, you know you can't be a secret and a success at the same time. All right. You have to be comfortable in the spotlight. All right. That is how you're going to grow your business. But you can't do it when you're trying to be someone you're not. So be fully you. That is the message for today. I will be accepting submissions for duck names. However, I really like this idea now of allowing people to sponsor their duck to name it. Justin, you've never had a tarot card reading before. You're here. Okay, well, I will do one more card if you have a question, but I do these every Thursday. So if you want to think about it and come up with a question for next week, then next week's Thursday. Thursday is Thanksgiving. So I'm probably not doing it next week, but the week after. But if you have a question, speak now or forever hold your peace. On Thursdays, we do tarot card readings. It's like Mean Girls, all grown up. Which, do you realize how long? Oh my God. Oh. I read an article about Mean Girls, and it was fascinating. I mean, like it happened a long time ago. It's really interesting to see where all the people ended up. But like the interesting fact that I didn't realize is that all the male main characters that were teens, like Kevin G, what's the main love interest guys, and then of course Damien, all three of them have come out openly as gay. right? Which I like, yeah, I mean, like, it's funny that they were in that movie that like allowed for people to feel so seen in how they felt judged in school, right? And since then, each and every one of them has said that the reason they came out publicly is because they realized how much it meant to the LGBTQ plus community that they did. Like it really, like it, that movie let people kind of see from a funny perspective, that it's okay to be yourself in a very judgmental environment. And that, like, when everyone's open about who they actually are, it actually makes it safer for everyone else. Right. And I found that such a beautiful article. It was a BuzzFeed article. It wasn't poetic at all. It was more like, here are some thirst trap pictures by Kenny G, who's like really, really hot now. But yeah, like that deeper message of like being open about who you are makes it safer for absolutely everyone else in your world. Let me see. I will eat too much on Thanksgiving. I don't know if that's a tarot card question, but I actually want to applaud Justin when I shared about my TikTok fail yesterday, where I was going live for like an hour before someone actually subscribed to tell me that that I had accidentally turned on this setting that no one could actually comment unless they were a paid subscriber. It was Justin who subscribed. So thank you. You're my man. I'm going to pull, we got the Two of Pentacles for you. Oh, and it just opened right to that. How funny. Okay. So Justin, the Two of Pentacles represents balance, prioritization, and daily affairs. Busy bee, your lively lifestyle is keeping you active, buzzing from one place to the next. With the Two of Pentacles, you have a vision in mind, and now it is a matter of taking daily action in order to implement it. You can see the big picture, but don't forget about the individual brush strokes it took to create this entire painting. Details are equally important, if not more so. Create structure so that you are able to focus on the important tasks at hand to build your long-term vision. There is freedom in boundaries. The infinity sign symbolizes the unlimited amount of time, flow, and change at your disposal. You are faced with conflicting interests and must prioritize what is most important in this moment in time. Like Aristotle says, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So I'm not sure what's going on in your business right now, but I hope that was helpful. Yeah. Anyway, guys, this has been so much fun. Thank you for being here. To Leah and David and Laura and Drew and Jason, thank you for joining me over on Instagram. And oh my gosh, over here, Joe Kane and Andrea Celeste and Javi and who else? And Justin, thank you guys for joining over on the Facebook, on LinkedIn, YouTube, and LinkedIn, Facebook. Yeah, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the questions. I hope you found this useful and fun and entertaining. If you think of any duck names, please send them to me. Girls only, please. And I will be live again tomorrow, doing more of my typical live, not this kind. Anyway, I love you all. Have an amazing Thursday, and I will see you all soon. Bye.